The storm swirling around Caitlin Clark isn't really about her shooting range or her jaw-dropping records. It's about something far bigger, something that's shaking the entire foundation of women's basketball. She's been called undeserving, she's been dragged into cultural debates she never asked for. And she's faced criticism not only from rivals, but from the very league she's about to join. Yet, at the same time, she's earned defenders from the most unexpected corners of the sports world legends who have nothing to gain by speaking out, but everything to lose if they stayed silent. So why is Caitlin Clark at the center of one of the most heated debates in sports today? And what does it really say about where the game is headed? It all began with a New York Times article. On the surface, it looked like a simple profile, a young star reflecting on her journey, her impact, and her hopes for the future. But buried in the interview was a comment about recognizing and uplifting the black women who built the league before her. Clark thought she was paying respect. Instead, critics pounced. Former players and league figures wasted no time twisting her words. Renee Montgomery, a respected voice in women's basketball, refused to acknowledge Clark's impact outright. It was almost like watching someone dance around raindrops in the middle of a storm, awkward, impossible, and revealing. And then came the comments from a WNBA owner suggesting that Clark's fame had less to do with her. Once-in-a-generation talent and more to do with her skin color. Imagine that, breaking records, selling out arenas, changing how kids play basketball nationwide and still being told it's not enough, but just when it looked like the criticism was swallowing her whole, help arrived. And it didn't come from where anyone expected. From outside the basketball world, two powerhouse athletes jumped in. First was Chris Evert, one of the most decorated tennis champions in history. With 18 Grand Slam titles, she knows what greatness looks like, and she wasn't afraid to say it. Caitlin Clark's success wasn't a product of privilege. It was earned through sheer talent, dedication, and impact. Evert's words cut through the noise like a blade. When someone of her stature speaks, people listen. Then came Gabby Thomas, Olympic medalist and rising track star. Unlike Evert, Thomas had been around Clark, seen her up close, and understood the magnitude of her influence. And she had no patience for critics like Riley Gaines, who accused Clark of bending to political pressures. Thomas clapped back hard. Clark shouldn't have to apologize for being white, nor should she be attacked for honoring black pioneers who paved the way before her. The combination of Evert and Thomas was explosive. Suddenly, this wasn't just an internal basketball debate. It was a cultural flashpoint pulling in voices from across the sports spectrum. And with every new defense, the stakes rose higher. But while outsiders rushed to Clark's side, those closest to her chose a different approach. Silence. Silence can be deafening. Clark's teammates, Lexi Hull, Kate Martin, even her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey stayed almost entirely quiet during the firestorm. Some fans saw this as betrayal. Others realized it was strategy. Because the truth is, Clark herself didn't want to fuel the controversy. She didn't want to be the face of a culture war. She just wanted to hoop. And yet, one voice did shift. Lexi Brown, once a Clark skeptic, found herself converted after playing against her. Watching Clark drain 30-foot bombs and bury her team by 30 points, Brown admitted what critics tried to deny. Clark was the real deal. Her turnaround showed how raw performance can silence even the harshest doubters. But while the people closest to Clark treaded carefully, the wider public had no such restraint. Online, the conversation turned into a battlefield. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, Clark was trending. Every line of that Times article was dissected like it was a secret code. Fans debated whether she was apologizing for her success or simply showing respect. Critics accused her of dodging responsibility, while supporters insisted she was being unfairly targeted. But here's the part that gets overlooked: the numbers. Clark didn't just make headlines, she broke them. Ratings skyrocketed during her games. Arenas sold out weeks in advance. Kids tried to copy her step-back threes on playgrounds everywhere. The sport wasn't just thriving. It was exploding, and Clark was the detonator. And yet, when she was rewriting record books, those same critics were silent. They weren't shouting about privilege when she made SportsCenter's top 10 on a nightly basis. They only started talking when the conversation became cultural. But it wasn't just fans weighing in. Another battlefield opened up, one that thrives on controversy: the media. And there, Clark's name became gold. If you follow basketball media, you know that Gil's Arena has become ground zero for unfiltered conversations. Hosted by Gilbert Arenas, it's equal parts genius and chaos. And whenever the Clark debate came up, especially when Cheryl Swoops entered the chat, the clips went viral. The arguments were fierce. Was Clark overshadowing pioneers unfairly? Did her race boost her fame? Was she the best thing to ever happen to the league or a distraction from deeper issues? No matter the side, the discussions lit up the internet. But here's what stood out. Nobody questioned her talent. Not once. The debates weren't about whether she could hoop, they were about everything else. That's how powerful her game is. It's untouchable. And yet, it forced everyone to ask, what do we actually want from athletes? In today's climate, every star is expected to pick a side. Natasha Cloud uses her platform for activism. Sophie Cunningham leans political in a completely different direction. But what if an athlete doesn't want to play that game? What if they just want to play? That's exactly the crossroads Caitlin Clark found herself at. Critics wanted her to take a stand or at least explain herself endlessly. But Clark's strategy was the opposite. Stay focused, stay silent. Let the game do the talking. Gabby Thomas defended that choice, arguing that no athlete should be forced into activism if they don't want it. Excellence and gratitude can coexist without being forced into political boxes. And Clark embodied that philosophy. She wasn't ducking responsibility. She was showing that basketball could still be about basketball, and when she stepped on the court, she proved it. Over and over again. The numbers are impressive, but the cultural shift is bigger. Go to any gym, any playground, any AAU tournament, and you'll see girls pulling up from the logo. You'll see no-look passes, deep threes, and a fearless style of play. That's Clark's fingerprint. She's not just playing the game. She's reinventing it. She's giving young athletes permission to be bold, to take risks, to play with joy. And while some critics claim her rise diminishes the pioneers, the truth is the opposite. Clark's success validates them. It proves their sacrifices built a platform strong enough to hold up a generational star. She honors the past, but she's not chained to it. She's building the future shot by shot, record by record, highlight by highlight. But the timing of this controversy isn't an accident. As Clark heads into the WNBA, the stakes couldn't be higher. And the debate over her influence? It's only beginning. At its core, this isn't just about one athlete. It's about who gets to succeed and on what terms. It's about how sports handle generational change. It's about the intersection of talent, opportunity, and identity. Caitlin Clark represents all of it. She's breaking records, drawing crowds, and sparking debates far beyond basketball. She's authentic, joyful, unapologetic, and that combination terrifies some people while inspiring millions of others. The media landscape is shifting. Platforms like Gil's Arena are giving space for raw debates. Social media is amplifying every word. And through it all, Caitlin Clark is at the center. Not because she chose the spotlight, but because her talent made it unavoidable. And that's the ultimate truth. You can't ignore greatness. You can argue about it, dissect it, even resent it. But you can't deny it. So here we are. Critics still doubt her. Legends still defend her. Fans still debate her every move. But while the noise rages on, Caitlin Clark keeps doing what she's always done. Playing with joy, honoring those who came before her, and changing the game for those who will follow. Whether certain WNBA figures acknowledge it or not, her impact is already permanent. And with defenders like Chris Evert and Gabby Thomas in her corner, it's clear that her influence extends far beyond the basketball court. The game is evolving. The conversation is shifting. And right at the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, exactly where she belongs. So now the question is yours. Are you standing with Caitlin Clark? Or do you think the criticism is fair? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going just like Clark herself would want it. Asterisk, if you've made it this far, you're clearly as passionate about these stories as we are. So here's a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We post brand new videos every single day, bringing you the latest updates, untold stories, and behind-the-scenes moments you won't find anywhere else. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.